Welcome to Chapter 2, The Beautiful Corpse and the Horizontal Life. The interior turn. As the bus moves through the Midwest, Vera travels inward. We leave the daylight world of asphalt and movement and enter the New England house by the sea. This is where the physical world ends and the night world of memory begins. We meet Catherine Cartwheel, the mother who has ceased to walk. My mother was the beautiful corpse of a world that had never been, and yet she was the only world there was, the only reality in a life which had been, from the beginning, a long and lonely journey toward her. Jung is not asking you to follow a plot here. She is asking you to inhabit a consciousness. Catherine Cartwheel is the opium lady. Shrouded in fumes and stasis, she has retreated to her bed for years. The bedroom is not a box, it is a universe. The walls dissolve into the fog of the Atlantic. The objects in the room, medicine bottles, lace, dust, are as alive as the people who once owned them. The house was a hollow shell, filled with the rustle of silks that had long since turned to dust, with the fragrance of flowers that had bloomed a century ago. Illusion, as primary Catherine refuses the sun because the sun was a bright eye that saw too much and understood too little. Reality is not what we find. It is what we make in the half-light. The dream is not an escape from truth. It is the only place truth is dense enough to be felt. Catherine's only regular visitor is Mr. Spitzer, the lawyer for the dead. He is an amateur lepidopterist and a composer of silent music. Spitzer is the twin brother of Perron, Catherine's dead love. He lives in a state of permanent mourning, uncertain if he is the twin who survived or the twin who died. The Spitzer twins represent the division of the heart. Perron was the raffish, horizontal man of action. Joachim is the soft, vertical man of shadow. Catherine loves the ghost of the one through the presence of the other. The novel uses this to show that every heart is the other heart. The boundary between the self and the double is an illusion. Catherine is never alone. Her room is full of phantom poets and spinsters from the 18th century. Dead poets and spinsters who have no legal right to be there, yet are the only reality. Lord Byron would come to sit at the foot of her bed. Alexander Pope would offer her a cup of invisible tea. Lady Mary Montague would whisper of the secrets of the court. Sedimentary time. The past does not recede. It accumulates layer by layer. The dead poets in Catherine's room are not memories being recalled. They are sediment pressing up into the present. In the Cartwheel house, time is geological. You do not move forward. You sink downward into the layers of what was. Catherine drinks from a multitude of colored bottles. Her medicine is res tacama, an opium anodyne. These potions for sleep, the draughts of lethe which she drank to forget that she was living in a world of ghosts, only to find that the ghosts were drinking with her. Jung endows every object with consciousness. The chandelier is not a fixture, it is a witness. The medicine bottles have ears. This is radical immanence. The sacred is not beyond the world. It does not point outward to a beyond. It points deeper into the immanent. The chandelier, with its many crystal prisms, was a coachman who would drive her through the night. A skeleton in livery, his eyes bright with the fires of the stars. Catherine grieves. Her husband's disappearance in the Alps and the death of Mr. Spitzer's brother, whom she loved, and her father's domination and death, and her own abandoned social life, and the child she has forgotten she bore, and her own beauty, which she preserves precisely because it cannot be used. The plural self. Catherine is not one woman. She is a plural self, a living woman in a bed, and a beautiful corpse on a marble sarcophagus, and a rider on a white horse through endless surf, and a dead woman who is walking, and a hostess receiving distinguished guests, and a patient in a charity ward. Readers often struggle with the length of Chapter 2, but the length is the point. The prose mimics the recursive loops of the opium mind. A thought is not stated and left behind. It is stated, returned to, and expanded. The sentence loops back on itself, like the waves outside the window. Catherine believes that to move is to fail. To arrive is to die. By staying in bed, she remains in the state of almost, where everything is possible because nothing has been concluded. She would not move, for she knew that to move was to lose the world that she had found. The ethics of incompletion. The unfinished is not failure, it is honesty. Catherine's refusal to get up is an ethical stance against the violence of conclusion. By remaining incomplete, she remains open to the entire field of human history. The beautiful corpse is beautiful, because it is a world that has never been finished. Jung spends pages on the description of Catherine's lace that is shredded by the fingers of dead queens. The detail is not decorative, it is evidence. In the marginal spaces, the fraying edges, the truth reveals itself by failing to hold together. In the original typescript, the lists of guests were twice as long. Young eventually refined them into the spiral logic of the 1965 text. She wanted the reader to feel the weight of the guests without drowning in them. The final version is a masterpiece of calibrated immersion. Mr. Spitzer composes music he never writes down. He is the guardian of the unsaid. He was a man who had missed his life, and yet he was the only one who truly knew the music of the dead. The witness. Vera is the child in the room, watching the mother watch the phantoms. Her role is to stay in the room, to see fully, without flinching, without judging. Vera's witnessing is the highest ethical act available in a world of illusion. Everything was about to happen, and yet nothing ever did, for in the world of the dream, the expectation is the event. Note, this is the philosophy of radical immanence. The waiting is the fulfillment. The search is the destination. While Chapter 2 seems like a digression into the past, it is actually the preparation for the future. Vera must understand the night world of her mother before she can find the daylight world of Miss MacIntosh. The cartwheel house is the shadow that Vera must carry through the Midwest fog. The beautiful corpse. Catherine is not a cautionary tale about addiction. She is a philosopher who has chosen her medium. She believes the same canary has been singing to her for years, and Mr. Spitzer makes sure it always is. Perfume of oriental hanging gardens where hung the housemaids, their feet twittering like birds. By fusing ancient myth, Babylon's hanging gardens, classical epic tragedy, Homer's hanging of the maidservants, and Gothic domesticity, the housemaids hanging in the gardens represent the historical exploitation, entrapment, and ultimate disposal of domestic women throughout history, transformed into a beautiful, macabre spectacle, and the line serves as a poetic meditation on how the ghosts of the past, particularly the forgotten or victimized women of history, remain trapped in the atmosphere of the present. Chapter 3 is coming next.